Get a phone call and two more come in while I'm talking.
That's my day
It's
too.
been very busy, but I'm not complaining
I
because I
know.
love being busy.
I know. And I have such great business right now, and I'm very grateful, but it is quite busy. Um,
Yeah,
so you are not in your office. Or maybe
I'm
you are in
not.
your office. Where are you? Tell us where you are.
My office is everywhere I am. I'm so
Mhm,
used to working from a mobile position. Right
mhm,
now, I'm at the Cape George community in Port Townsend. It's
mhm,
down off Discovery Bay
mhm.
and across from Protection Island, if folks know where that is, just off the Juan de Fuca, the Straits of Juan de Fuca.
Okay.
So they've got a marina, as you can see behind me. We've got a beach, we've got a swimming pool. My husband and I bought a place here to build on, and so we're really enjoying getting to know the community. We've got a workout room, we've got trails. I mean, it's just a lovely waterfront community.
So you get to participate in all those benefits of the community
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you live there. Got it. Okay. Very good.
I will live here. Right
Yeah.
now, it's a lot of work, but I will live here.
Yes. And right now you're living in Port Townsend and you are
Yeah,
commuting in from Port Townsend. I mean,
yeah,
from Cape George to Port Townsend.
yeah,
Got
yeah.
it. And so you are a water person. I know
I
you
am.
and your husband sail and
Hmm.
scuba and all kinds of fun water type things.
Yep. Yep. We just brought our kayaks down. I don't think you can see the kayak storage behind me. If
Hmm.
I move over, you can kind of see them off of the far side, but we have kayak storage here. So we just moved our kayaks down to the water. It's been years since I've been able to just put my kayak in the water and go anytime I want. So I'm really looking forward to enjoying that.
Nice. So you have some storage then, some
Yeah.
more. What's that
Yeah.
called? Storage.
Yeah.
Um, and you are. I'm just trying putting in our details here on this banner before I show it. So you are officing out of Port Townsend. You work for Caldwell Banker Best Homes, which covers all the peninsulas and both Kitsap and um,
Jefferson and Clallam, and
Jefferson and
I just closed on a little lakefront cottage for some folks I've been working with for a couple of years, and this is going to be their retirement place, and so we just closed on that this morning in Shelton, which
Nice.
is in what's the name of the I can't remember the name
Gulfport.
of the community. It's been
Yeah.
one of those days,
I have
but
a
I'm
family
so
member.
excited for them.
That's a beautiful area. Super pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yes.
they're on a little lake and there are fountains. Timber Lakes is what it's called. Sorry.
Hmm.
And so it's this old little cabin, and they're inheriting it from a fellow's estate. And so they're going to take it to the next level and just love visiting and having their kids there and grandkids. And it's going to be awesome.
Nice. Yes. Washington has some, Pacific Northwest has some very nice areas to live in for sure. And I think that the areas that you traverse a lot and sell in are areas I'm used to think. I grew up in sort of the Tacoma, Gig Harbor sort of area,
Hmm.
South Sound, Puget Sound. And
Hmm.
the areas where you're selling in are kind of known as, they were outskirts and now they're not at all because Seattle has exploded and the tech industry and those areas are becoming very populated and there's a lot of home development going on. And it's interesting to see the community expand in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, our culture has changed so much. It's like I can work from anywhere. The world has discovered that they can work from anywhere as a result of COVID, and so that's the silver lining of it. That people have realized I can live wherever I want really, and get
Mm-hmm.
my job done. So
Yes.
it's been an awakening for the whole world, I think.
I agree. And you can pick your office mates or not have office mates, or, you can pick your
or
favorite coffee shop or
or
whatever.
yeah, or sit in the gazebo at Cape George Marina and
There
hang
you
out
go.
and do your work.
With your
So
laptop. That's right.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I enjoy those freedoms as well doing what I do. Although I do miss having live in person employees. And I'm getting ready to build that part of my team. But all remote, I think you need to get together with your buddies and your friends in the evenings because all remote during the day, I got to at least get out and be social in the evenings. I kind of go crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, so our topic of the day is not remote working. Our
No,
topic of
it's
the
not.
day is how the heck do you buy a house? And I know that this is something pretty fundamental that hasn't changed regardless of the market. We're going to talk about finding an agent and a lender. You're conducting your house search, making an offer, signing your papers, and moving in. So take it away, Jen. So the first thing you do is you got to find one of you, right?
Well, that's my feeling that you should is because we've been trained, we've worked with all sorts of scenarios, we know how to solve all sorts of problems, and so it's you need to find someone that you trust and that
Hmm.
you're comfortable working with. We have a variety of personalities in the world, and
Yeah.
some folks you might not want to work with over others. So find some folks that match your personality and can or even just kind of if you're too crazy, find someone that'll keep you calm. Just find someone that you're comfortable working with that you can trust. Um, I I have in my before I got into real estate, I worked with a couple of agents and I never knew what questions to ask. So, ask, are they full time? Is this a hobby for them? Where do they live? What areas do they know? Where have they sold before? What kind of buyers have they worked with before? And just get to know who they are and or ask for a referral from friends and family. I mean, obviously I would love them to call me, but
Hmm.
it's got to be a good fit. So find somebody that you're comfortable with, that's knowledgeable, that's been in the business a while, who knows how to deal with different things that may come up and help you through it. Because selling and buying a home are really complex. Now, for us, we do it every day. So we sometimes forget, especially for a new home buyer, it can be really intimidating.
Yes,
So,
it is complex and it is also stressful.
yes, it is.
And to me, it is a project. And so, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And to
Yeah.
me, the role of the broker and the agent is to kind of navigate, even if you're an experienced buyer or seller, just to navigate the process, keep things moving forward. And, if I know people have different senses of urgency, but, sometimes the school year is going to start and you got to have a house. So you need an agent that's confident of the areas, the schools, what there is to do for fun. What's my chances of finding childcare if you have kids, or where are the doggy daycares if you have pets. And, it's nice to have someone that lives and works in the community where you're looking, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
I agree
Exactly.
it needs to be a good fit. I've been on that
And
side of the table.
yeah, and same way with lenders, you want to find somebody that you can talk to that's going to actually answer the phone when you call.
Hmm.
Um, there's been a lot of innovation with the mortgage companies too. So, you can go on, I'm not going to name any names, but you can go online and find a lender, but you don't know if they are dependable. You don't know if they're real. You don't know if they're going to be able to meet the deadlines that you have to have with your contracts. So, a good realtor can also point you in the direction of interviewing some good lenders that'll walk you through what you need to do and make sure that they're going to be there when you need them when you're ready to close. Because getting through underwriting is not fun, honestly. So,
No.
you need somebody that's going to be there to talk you through it and help you through it, and who's dependable and not just some call center in the middle of nowhere that God only knows who they are.
Right. And
So,
so if you don't know the lender, make sure your realtor knows the lender so that it's
yeah,
not anybody's first rodeo for sure.
right. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
So then how do you begin to search? So what if, I'm looking for a home and I drive down the road and I see something that says for sale, but it's not your real estate company? What if it's one of your dreaded competitors? Can you still show me that home, or I
Our
don't,
competitors aren't dreaded. um,
just to
yeah,
be
we,
completely
we,
honest, I'm drinking a
in,
Starbucks right now. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In Washington, you can, as an agent, I can represent the seller, I can represent the buyer, and I can represent both parties as a dual agent. So that's another thing I always tell buyers. If they are calling off a sign, they are talking to the seller's agent. So make sure that you have a buyer's agent that's representing your interests, not just the seller. But when you call off a sign, you're talking to the seller's agent. So make sure you understand who's representing you and have that dialogue with them right up front. Um, the reason I say talk to a lender first before you ever start looking is because you might get surprised that you can either A, afford a lot more than you thought you could,
mhm.
or unfortunately, maybe not as much as you thought you could. So in my younger career days, I would show buyers and we'd find the house and they would fall in love with it, and then we would connect them with the lender, and then they would find out that they couldn't afford it, and that was just heartbreaking because they'd already fallen in love with this house, and they found out that they couldn't afford it. So I switched that around and said, let's make sure that there aren't any surprises for you. Let's get you pre-qualified, and actually now we get you pre-approved, because
Mm-hmm.
it's so competitive at the moment. Things go so fast
Mm-hmm.
that you need to have yourself as a buyer pre-approved, and then all the underwriters have to do is go through and approve the house. So it's really important that you talk to a lender right up front and understand. Some people have a hard time talking about money, but it's better to know going in what you can do versus what you can't. And that way we can tailor the search for your price range and your size and your area and get you what you need. So that's why I always say, before we ever go and look at houses, let's get some lenders in here. Let's get you somebody that you're comfortable with,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that you're ready to go,
Mm-hmm.
so that when you do make that offer to a seller, you can show that you're serious, you've done your homework, and you are ready to buy this house, and you should pick me over all the other buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So the stronger you can position yourself for negotiating, the better.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sounds good. So you know exactly what you can afford going into the whole process too, so you don't waste your time dreaming about things that are not reality for you at that time. So it makes
Yeah,
sense. So
yeah.
how do you start the search? So do you do some of the searching and your people that you're working with do some of the searching, or and you
I
get together on
do.
Saturdays, or
you know
or I
Honestly, a
know you
lot of
guys work
people.
every single Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of, well, 93% of buyers plus now start, and sellers too, actually, start online. So they might go to Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com or Homes.com, or they'll just Google homes for sale in Port Townsend, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a variety of data sources now that you can use, and kind of start exploring online.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of gives you a feel for what's going on in the market and what's out there and what's sold. So you kind of have a feel for it, but a realtor or broker can really go into detail on, okay, how many bedrooms really do you need? How do I talked to somebody last week and I said, all right, you want to move here. What does your typical day in retirement look like? What is it that you want to do? What do you see yourself doing in retirement? Do you want to be in the midst of town? Do you want to be out in the country? Do you want not to see your neighbors? Do you want to be able to walk the beach?
Right.
How do you see your typical day? And so based on what they're telling us, we can tailor that search. And of course, we have access directly to the MLS. So I can actually set up a search where they're going to get alerts for a house that may work for them before Zillow even sees it. So it's one of the advantages that we have too. And so, we know the areas, we know the markets, and so it really helps us gear the search for what they're looking for.
So I found my dream house. It's in my price range, and it's exactly where I want to live. And I know you're familiar with the neighborhood, and I want to make an offer. Should I make an offer only on one home, or should I wait till I have three of my dream houses and then go into offer?
Well, it's always good to have options, but you want to negotiate in good faith. So you should make one offer on one house,
Mm-hmm.
but position yourself with to be competitive. So for example, you're going to maybe put in an escalation clause. It's kind of like eBay, where you say, okay, I love this house, but I'm not willing to pay more than this for it. And if another offer comes in that's competitive with mine, I will increase my bid by 2,500 or 5,000 or 10,000 to beat that offer, but I will not go above this amount. So we're
Mm-hmm.
seeing that a lot in this competitive market right now.
Mm-hmm.
In the old days, we could just negotiate back and forth, but now you've got multiple buyers going after the same house. So it's kind of scary for buyers because they feel like they're showing all their cards right up front.
Yeah.
But the reality is, a seller can't escalate that offer without showing you a competing offer. So again, a knowledgeable broker will help protect you in that scenario.
A
So,
seller cannot say that again. A seller cannot.
a, a, a seller cannot escalate your sales price
Mm-hmm.
when you're using an escalation clause unless there's another competing offer, a valid competing offer that bumps you up. So they
Mm-hmm.
have to show that to you, and your buyer's agent can protect you and make sure that that's happening.
Good Lord.
So
That's
So in
comfortable.
a way, given the competitive nature, you are showing your cards, but you do have some protections, and that's another reason to have a buyer's agent to make sure that they're looking after you.
Okay. So I've submitted my offer. My offer was accepted. It took forever and we all lost sleep, but it was accepted.
Yeah.
And then what do I do? Do you coordinate a signing meeting or how does that work?
Now the fun starts. So now I always recommend that buyers get an inspection. Again, in this competitive market, we're having some buyers that are waiving inspections. I never recommend that, but it
Mm-mm.
depends on how risk averse you are. But I always recommend that you get an inspection.
Oh,
We're
good.
seeing pretty short inspection periods, 5 to 7 to 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a licensed home inspector come in. You can have any contractor, an electrician, a roofer,
Mm-hmm.
whoever you want to come in and inspect that house for you and make sure that you're comfortable with the condition. You want to know what you've got going in. I love fixer uppers. So, there's not a lot that scares me, but some people are like, oh no, it's got to be all ready to go. I don't want to do any work. I want it to be perfect on move-in day. So, having an inspection really helps you figure out what condition the house is in. And they are trained to look in the crawl spaces and get on the roof. And, that's like we are trained to help buyers and sellers sell and buy. They
Yeah.
are trained to really look at the condition of the house
Mm-hmm.
and find problems up front. So always get a home inspection. I always recommend that. It's just too scary otherwise. Unless you're a contractor yourself or you are a builder, you're really comfortable with renovation, then, some people feel safe about doing that. But for the typical buyer, you need to get a home inspector to take a look.
Sure. Because you may know something about plumbing, but nothing about construction or foundations or whatever. So
Right.
drainage.
Or bugs or,
Yeah.
stuff in the crawl space or insulation,
It's
there's
worth
all
it to
sorts of
think
things
about
that
it.
you have to look at. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So,
So you've done the inspection,
mhm.
you've negotiated as a result of what you found in the inspection. We're seeing a lot of buyers do a pass or fail kind of scenario where because of the competition, we're going, okay, we're not going to ask you for a bunch of repairs. It's going to be pass or fail. So you're going to know pretty quickly, Mr. Seller, how if we're going to go ahead with this or not.
Mhm.
So that's helped be a little more competitive with buyers too. Then the title company goes and does a title search to make sure you've got clear title. It's got to be a marketable title. The seller has to have, clear ownership to transfer this property to you.
Mhm.
So we go through the title search and we review all of that. Um, we, of course, if you're using a lender, then you're getting through underwriting for the house with the lender because you've already been pre-approved because you're a smart
Mhm.
buyer.
Mhm.
So, but now the house has to be approved. So the lender sends out an appraiser usually to take a look at the house and the condition of the house to make sure that the loan that they're giving you is backed up by a good house and it's worth the money that they are lending to you.
Mhm.
So the appraisal goes through, that's usually toward the end. And then we schedule signings with the buyers and the sellers, and you wire funds and get all that ready to go. And then the final step, once everybody is signed and the money's in the escrow hands, then they can record the deed. And that's when it's officially yours.
Hey, exciting. What a good day. And so
Yeah.
then you can move in your puppy and your people and your furniture and you're good to go and you're now a
Yeah.
homeowner. Super fun.
Yeah.
How long does that usually take?
Oh gosh. Well, at a cash deal, you can close in a week if you want to.
Mhm.
Generally 30 to 45 days.
Mhm. So
The
it's not
title
too.
companies need to have at least 7 to 10 days to do their title search and make sure everything looks good.
Mhm.
Appraisers can take another 2 weeks to get out there. So it just depends on the lender. It depends on the house. It depends on if you're doing inspections. There's just a lot of factors to that.
Mhm.
But generally 30 to 45 days if a lender's involved.
Sounds good. So what are the more popular areas in the peninsulas right now that homes are being scooped up?
Oh gosh, it's all over the place. Port Townsend is, we're generally seeing offer review dates 5 to 7 days after it goes on the market.
Mhm.
Um, Everywhere. I mean, people are, there's a buyer for every property. So Sequim
Mhm.
is very active. Port
Mhm.
Angeles is very active.
Mhm.
Port Ludlow, Port. Hadlock, I mean, all along our part of the peninsula, people are just, it's really interesting and it's never boring.
Are they
Houses have personalities just like people. So it's nice to have those choices to look at.
Yeah, and with views and without views, and with mountain views versus water views. So, are they moving from the other larger cities, or are they moving from out of state? I'm just curious.
It's a mix. It's a
Mhm.
mix. We're seeing a lot of California folks affected by the wildfires coming up. And we're seeing some Arizona folks who it's just the temperatures are just climbing. So they're calling themselves climate refugees.
Mhm.
I've had two people talk about I'm a climate refugee in the last 2 weeks, and I didn't expect that. So
Wow.
we're seeing that. Of course, I'm a refugee from Texas, so it
Mhm.
was getting too hot in Texas. Hurricane
Yeah.
Harvey hit, and
Mhm.
so we came up here, and we
Yep.
love it.
Yeah. Moderate, isn't it? Yes. Nice.
Hmm.
Well, very good. Well, thank you. So, I'm just going to go over the steps one more time. So, find a
Okay.
great agent lender. Begin your search, collaborating with your wonderful agent and your lender, who's told you how much you can afford. Make some offer or make a offer. Sounds like good faith offer.
Yeah.
And then lots of inspection and validating of the home, making sure it's a safe, great place for you to move into, but also the lender will validate its value and whether or not they want to give their money towards that home. And
Hmm.
then as long as that all checks out, the title checks out, it's clear. There's a signing meeting, and then the money is transferred, and you get the deed, and you have a party because you now have a new home. So,
And then you
thanks.
pack and pack and pack.
Then you pack and move. Oh, geez. I just don't want to ever do that ever again. Okay. So, How to Buy a House by Jen Rabinowitz. You can watch this video 9 more times if you want, if you haven't figured out those steps. You can visit Jen at jensells.port-to-port.com. And she sells port to port because you have a license both in Texas and Washington. Is that right?
No, I let my Texas license go, but
But you used to.
there's so many port, there's Port Angeles, there's Port Townsend, there's Port Hadlock, there's Port Ludlow, there's Port Gamble. So
There's
I
port,
like
port, port,
port to
port.
port. Plus, it's a pun on my sailing. I love sailing, so
Yes. Very fun.
sailing port to port.
Yes, and you can find Caldwell Banker Best Homes online, or you can go to jensellsporttoport.com and get there as well and see their current listings. Jen services Jefferson County, both peninsulas, but she works out of the Port Townsend office, but she can meet you anywhere in the area.
Mhm.
So, anything else you want to share before we close here, Jen?
No, I'm just excited to work with folks, and don't let the competitive market intimidate you, because there is a home out there for you. We just need to find it.
Yes, just have to find the match for
When
sure.
it's right, it's right.
There you
You'll
go.
find it.
Yes, I agree. All right. Well, thank you and have a great rest of your afternoon. And we'll be talking again. I'm not sure what our coming topics are, but if you have a topic or a question about real estate or buying a home or selling a home and you want to let us know what that is, we're happy to address them in these live broadcasts. So let us know what that is in the comments, or email Jen or visit her site. So thanks again. We'll talk again.
Thank you. See you later, Jennifer.